Chevy here. I'm about to install a decal set on this 77 SS. Got a matte black paint job on it. Never done decals on a paint job that's not glossy, smooth, so I'm hoping these decals will stick properly. Anyways, a lot goes into laying them out and making sure they're straight, even on both sides, and that they terminate at the position that they need to make sure that you're not short in any one of the areas that there's a seam, such as this front fender and door. They give you a little bit of extra so you can just trim that off and fold it back around so you can hide the end. But the important thing is to get these to line up, so when everything's laid out, everything is lined up properly. As you can see, the bottom edge is pretty dead on. So the other thing is you want to make sure that, looking down the side of it, that it looks laser straight. The challenge with this is the backing paper that they have on these stripes are cut crooked, so it's kind of deceiving. So if these were black stripes like I did on my 76 a few years back, it'd be a lot easier. But since these are white, it's a little bit harder to tell the backing, or the, I guess, the cover, the protective cover on the front side is almost the same color as the decal. So like I said, it's a challenge to see if it truly is straight. Anyways, I did measurements here on both sides just to make sure I've got the same distance, and I made sure I measured from the actual decal, not the backing. And so I put masking tape on this just to see where everything's going to line up at. This is a real critical area here where it wraps around, so you want to make sure these terminate at the same level. These are real close. The way I do this is with some soapy water. That way I can slide these around a little bit before I permanently attach them to the paint. So you've got a little bit of time to work with. Here's the tailgate. Did the same thing. I measured from here to here on both sides. I got it even. And I'm going to start with the tailgate, so I know that it's square, and then work my way up to the front. As you can see, I did the same thing here. Measured around, taped everything up to make sure everything lines up. Make sure you've got extra here. Now on the door and quarter panel where they meet, you want to make sure you have enough overlap to where it's right before the door handle, and then you'll take a razor and cut through that, and then make sure you got it even on both sides so you can roll it underneath so it's not visible, or roll it on the quarter panel and behind the door edge, and then make sure this starts right after where the door handle bevel, or recessed part of it, starts. So that's pretty much it. The biggest battle is getting everything laid out and straight, and then you got to peel the backing off. While you're doing that, you got to spray soapy water underneath it so you have the ability to move it around if you need to. I know some folks do it dry. They just start working from the center of their panel that they're starting on, such as the door, and work their way out, making sure that all the bubbles are removed. I like using the wet application method because I don't do this for a living, and it takes a little bit of time to get everything lined up just perfectly. Anyways, I'm going to start applying these things, and I'll start the video back up once I get that part done, and you can see how everything looks. Okay, I'm partway through this. Got the side and the tailgate affixed to the car. Working on the door stripes right now, and you can see I'm pulling off the backing and spraying just a mixture of a couple of drops of Dawn dishwashing liquid and purified water, and I go underneath that, and it keeps it basically in the position where I taped it, and then I can kind of work it around and make sure it's straight and compared to the other stripes, and then I can squeegee it, and I'll let it dry overnight before I take the top cover paper off of there that protects the actual decal. So I'll update you here on the next video. Got all these decals applied, and the protective paper on top I'm going to peel off. And for whatever reason, the last couple kits I bought, they always give you extra SS decals. These are the same size as the ones that are on the side, and this one goes right here on top of that. So as soon as I pull off this protective paper, I'll go ahead and apply that, and then start peeling off the rest of the stuff and show you what the end result is. Pulling off this protective paper that they have on top of these decals, and you got to be real careful with it. It's still got a lot of adhesive strength to it, so you don't want to pull too hard, otherwise you might peel some paint off, so you got to be careful with that. Anyways, when I get this done, I will show you how to apply that SS decal underneath the tailgate latch. Okay, got the stripe kit installed. Turned out pretty good. I've got a few bubbles I need to work out, but they're few and far between. I did notice on this stripe kit that it's not exactly straight on this part of the door decal, which, you know, it's not really noticeable from a few feet away, but that was really the only imperfection I saw in the kit. That was a kit made by RestoParts that I ordered from OPGI, and I got it on sale. I think it was like 142 bucks, if I remember correctly. Anyways, here's the decal that I put over the stripes on the back tailgate here. So that turned out pretty good. Everything lined up fairly decent. Just got to make sure that those are secured so they don't peel back. Usually what I do is take clear fingernail polish and cover the ends so they don't peel back. But anyways, they went on relatively easy. Like I said, I like using the wet application method. It just makes it easier to move around if you need to. But one thing that I did notice on some cars that I saw on the internet, that they tend to try to follow these style lines on the side of the El Camino, which they're not parallel with the stripes. The crown on the corner panel is the best indication of whether you got it centered or not. So what I did is I took like a spotlight and made sure that I could see the crown and make sure it's parallel with the stripe when I was taping it on there for fitment. So that's, you can see the crown on the door. So you want to make sure that stripe is parallel with that, and from a distance it'll look straight. I've seen a lot of these curve up and they follow this style line on the door, and which is not you know, parallel with the ground, so it throws it off. But anyways, those are the things that I look out for when I apply these things. But it's really not that difficult. I think it took me about 2.5 hours, I think, total. So I'm going to let this dry for 24 hours before I mess around with it again. But just thought this would be helpful for any of you that decide to install these stripe kits. The first one I got was from OPGI as well, but it just said it was a 3M vinyl. This one specifically says that it is made by RestoParts, and again, they give you 2 extra decals, which I'm not sure what you do with. They're basically the same size as the fender decal, so I guess if you mess that up, you could probably fix them with these. Anyways, I'm sure I'll find a use for them. But anyways, again, purchased from OPGI, and here's the part number and all that good stuff. And they come in 2 colors, black and white. I've seen some others on the internet that were silver or charcoal or whatever. I think those are just custom made stuff that you can have done. But comes with the instructions, which are somewhat helpful. The only thing I would have done different, just to make it a little bit easier to apply, would be taping the top of the decal all the way down the body, so you can flip it up and peel the backing off. I did it every 6 or 8 inches, which is okay, but if it was a solid piece of tape, I think it would have been a lot easier. So hope that helps, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the video below. Again, this is G3 Chevy signing out.